on News 3.
Welcome inside our award-winning locker room show, sponsored by your Hampton Roads Chevy dealers. I'm Megan Plain. Adam Winkler will be along shortly. Now, with March Madness, that's happening right now. Wink's going to have that update. But first, a jam-packed night of high school football, and we begin with Lake Taylor versus Norcom. The undefeated Titans host the Greyhounds, who are looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. Down by 7 in the second quarter, Norcom's Shyam Cannon hits Jaden Ratcliffe in the end zone for a touchdown, and we are all tied up at 7. Titans back in the end zone when Jeffrey Foster hands it off to Jeff Fisher, who rushes up the middle to score. The Titans, they reclaim the lead here, and they'll later go on to win it 35-13. Maury's all hyped up at Powhatan Field. Eastern District rivals Maury and Norview square off. Maury carries a 13-6 lead into the second half, and here's where the Commodores offense becomes explosive. That was a Devontae Floyd touchdown that put Maury ahead 20-16 in the third quarter. Next drive, how about Amari and Granger? Check him out, using his legs, getting past defenders. He's in the end zone, and his offense is just going to keep on rolling. The Commodores win this thing 44-14. Now Tallwood hosts Ocean Lakes as the Dolphins are looking to bounce back from last week's loss to PA. Ocean Lakes, they're ahead 36-0 with a minute left in the third quarter, and here Landon Spell escapes the pocket, and he hits Anderson Burns, who makes that catch. And the Dolphins are ahead 43-0. Now with a minute left in the game, they're looking to add even more points to the board. But here, Reginald Custelau sacks the quarterback, and that'll do it for Ocean Lakes offense, which scores 43 in the Dolphins' shutout win against Tallwood. Now first, Colonial versus Green Run. Stallions had to forfeit their previous win due to an ineligible player, so both teams look for their first official win of the season tonight. First quarter, Green Run has the ball on 4th down, and Xavier Davis connects with Tayon Holloway in the end zone. Stallions up 6-0. Now with a 14-0 lead in the second quarter, Green Run's trying to tack on some more points when Christian Hewley sacks the quarterback and stops the Stallions offense briefly, but Holloway goes on to score his third touchdown of the half, and the Stallions roll to a 48-0 win over First Colonial. Now Warwick is in the midst of a wild 4 games in 11 days stretch. Tonight they're facing Heritage, and there's no signs of a short turnaround from the Raiders. How about this deep pass from Derek Nixon to Isaiah Wallace in the third quarter? Warwick leads by 21 points at this point. Now later, they'll put more on the board on this play. Nixon hands it off to Bryce Buchanan, who runs, dives, and reaches for a touchdown, one of the many in Warwick's 35-0 victory. Meanwhile, in the Bay Rivers District, Tab pays a visit to Poquoson. First quarter, Tigers quarterback Emmett Marks gets the first points of the game on the board with a rushing touchdown, and Tab leads 7-0. Second quarter, Islanders quarterback Christopher Barber will connect with Kai Baker for a gain, but the offense is not able to score on this drive. Meanwhile, Tab's offense adds one more touchdown before the half to lead 14-0, and later wins this one 27-0. Now we got to take a quick break, but stay tuned because coming up next, we've got our 7-5-7 Showdown matchup of the week. Our award-winning locker room show, sponsored by your Hampton Roads Chevy dealers. Now it's time to check out this week's Hercules Fence 7-5-7 Showdown, which is Phoebus versus Kickotan. Now these two teams do not face off until Saturday in a game that was added after each of their original matchups were canceled. Now they are part of a Peninsula District group of schools that have had wild scheduling this season because of COVID regulations and teams having to sit out a few weeks in COVID protocol. But the Phantoms enter this game 2-0 while the Warriors are only just beginning their season. So I caught up with Kickotan head coach Jeff Super, who's in his first year as the Warriors coach, and talks me through this wild year.
Under our unique situation, it's been hard for us to get a game. We were actually scheduled to play Gloucester this week, and they have a situation of their own. And our first opponent that we were supposed to play is Phoebus, and now they've been added back. So it's just constant adjustment. We're just excited for the kids to be able to perform on Saturday afternoon.
And that should be a good game. Phoebus and Kickotan, they will be playing at noon tomorrow. Now, we're going to take another break, but stay tuned because coming up in the locker room, we have Wink joining us from Indiana with all the March Madness updates you need to know. That's next. Award-winning locker room show where we now hear from Adam Winkler, who is on location at the NCAA Tournament.
Let's begin with a story on which we first reported Wednesday here in Indianapolis. This enormous bracket on the side of the JW Marriott Hotel. It's 47,000 square feet, a world record, but it does not include Norfolk State. But now that the Spartans have won a game in the NCAA Tournament and advanced to face Gonzaga, NSU should be updated in this vacant slot right here. But even a day after the Spartans' victory, still nothing. When reached by News 3, Frank Hancock, the president and CEO of Sport Graphics, says the reason NSU is not up there, well, it's because of the weather. High winds keep crews from scaling the building Friday. Hancock tells us the bracket will be updated by 9 a.m. Saturday morning to feature Thursday and Friday's winners. Now, should Norfolk State advance even further on that bracket, the largest in the world, well, it would be by virtue of an upset victory that would shock the world. Saturday night, the Spartans face undefeated and number 1 ranked Gonzaga.
I know Gonzaga, obviously, they're not trying to go home. All the pressure's on them.
In order for Norfolk State to pull off the monumental upset of Gonzaga, head coach Robert Jones' Spartans will have to be cool under pressure, kind of like he is when the fire alarm goes off during Friday's interview.
Yeah, what the hell was that? I don't know what that was.
That's the fire alarm in the fire alarm is going off in the hotel here.
Oh, I guess we on timeout right now, huh?
Where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And this sure seems like a David versus Goliath matchup. Gonzaga favored over the Spartans by more than 30 points. But Jones, he's not fanning those flames when it comes to being a massive underdog.
Now, we execute the way we're supposed to execute, the chips are going to fall in our favor, honestly. If we don't, or they're just better than us that